Throughout history, religious leaders and religions emerged with pure intentions to guide humanity spiritually and influence cultural and social aspects of humans. But with the evolution of history, every religion has become political for its own survival. In later times, religion was used to maintain political power in the world. It is difficult to say that this conclusion is incorrect even in the case of the Catholic religion. Many churches hesitate to make the right decisions by going beyond the existing traditional framework. Another common sight in Asian countries is that people who are victims of exploitation by corrupt politicians silently accept it as a matter of Buddhist karma. This has also helped politicians to escape many of the wrongdoings of theirs. With Pope Francis passing on April 21st, the world lost one of the greatest popes of all time. He had introduced radical reforms to the Vatican's traditional system of Catholic Church. His character and behavior was extraordinary compared to previous popes. He did his daily mass in a public place for janitors, secretaries, and security guards versus other popes who only invited wealthy and influential people to daily mass in their private chapel. The Pope constantly stated that the Church's priority is to serve the poor. He once declined an invitation from the Vatican to present an award, saying that if the money for the trip was sent, it could be spent on the poor people of Argentina. Pope Francis had a universal love for the poor that had never been political. He was very well respected for his humility and his simple life. He refused to wear ermine-lined capes other popes wore. The Pope lived in a small bedroom only comprising a plain wooden bed, a wardrobe, and a nightlight. His worldly belongings would fit into a small shoebox. He sent personal handwritten letters and made personal phone calls rather than sending formal messages on his behalf, despite his very demanding daily routine. He queued up and sat with Vatican workers for his lunch. Whenever people needed moral support, the Pope used to walk on foot or used public transport to visit them. He refuses to ride in a bulletproof Mercedes limousine assigned for him. He had a 1984 Renault Ford Focus and drove himself around Rome whenever he needed to. Against the traditional practices of Vatican, he appointed women into very senior positions in the Vatican government, which was a male-dominated place in the past. The Pope has consistently used a more familiar, direct and casual way of speaking versus the highly formal tone used by previous popes. The main purpose of Pope Francis' 2022 visit to Canada was to apologize and reconcile with Canada's Indigenous peoples regarding the Catholic Church's role in the Canadian Indian residential school system. The Pope has said the Church should speak less about contraception, abortion and same-sex marriages. In fact, previous popes who specifically stated these were priorities for the Church. The Pope's teachings often highlighted the importance of social justice and the need for a more equitable world. His papacy was engraved by a focus on the marginalized and a willingness to challenge traditional norms, aiming to create a more inclusive and compassionate Catholic Church. His burial wishes are different from previous popes as well. He wanted a simple burial service at Rome's Basilica of St. Mary, which is located outside of Vatican, with a simple tomb without any decoration, just his name written on it. Pope Francis will surely be remembered for his humility and constant concern for the poor and those who are marginalized in church and society. He also died as a savior of the oppressed due to his invaluable social services, such as providing a completely radical reform to the traditional Catholic Church. He will forever remain in the hearts of people. There's no doubt that Pope Francis' name will be at the top of the list of people throughout history who have changed the world through their selfless acts. Now, the situation arises for a new pope. Sri Lankan Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit, who has served as Archbishop of Colombo since 2009, is among the cardinals who are 117 in total eligible to vote. So, it is necessary to highlight his service to the world when the Easter attacks happened on Sunday, the April 21st of 2019 and the aftermath. It is no secret to anyone that the Easter attack was carried out for a political purpose and the intelligence agencies had received information about this attack before, but they did nothing to prevent that devastating incident. While the media and the previous government authorities claimed that this attack was carried out by extremist Islamists, those loyal to the previous government directly pointed the finger at the innocent Muslim population. But Father Malcolm's determination to forgive the accused prevented another Black July, the possibility of Sri Lankan soil soaked in blood again. This shows that he is a real servant of God. The previous governments seem to have no intention of bringing those involved in this crime, which left over 300 people dead and over 500 people completely disabled. In the face of the outraged masses who had gathered around him for justice, Cardinal Malcolm had to go above and beyond his role as the cardinal to bring justice to the Easter attack victims, working with authorities by providing crucial information to them in addition to his priestly duties. He did it without hesitation, so the governments have not been able to forget that crime even though justice has not been served. Without the strong influence of Cardinal Malcolm, previous governments would have been able to bury this crime in 2019. It is widely acknowledged in Sri Lanka that Father Malcolm Ranjit fulfilled his duties as a servant of God through his leadership, social justice advocacy and commitment to the church. The Cardinal distributed the financial aid received from people around the world for the victims of the Easter attacks with transparency and submitted documents to the Catholic Church for all to know, conducting the distribution according to the Bible. The world developed a sense of love and respect for the very small country of Sri Lanka with its cricket victory in 1996. But for the past several decades, Sri Lanka has been defined in the world as a country bankrupted by barbaric and corrupt rulers. The 30-year civil war, the tragic incidents of 1971, 1983, 1987 to 89, and the ongoing cases of war crimes at the International Court of Justice, as well as the Easter attacks, are evidence of the country's situation. At a time when the world wonders whether there can be whole men in such a country, what will our fate be if Cardinal Malcolm receives this position? It is going to be a very random political opportunity for Sri Lanka. In addition to the religious benefits, pride and honor that our country will receive, it is inevitable that the country will also receive economic benefits. The influx of tourists to Sri Lanka will increase. Powerful nations of the world will think twice before poking their fingers at our country, at Sri Lanka politically, and that the shame Sri Lanka has acquired will diminish to some extent. Also, the year 2024 is a turning point in Sri Lanka's politics. The common people have made a valuable decision and have given the presidency, which for so long has been reserved for the elite, to an honest, intelligent and a simple man, Anukumara Dissanayake, who came from an ordinary family. Also, the general election, people have chosen an honest team under Anukumara, hoping for a better country where the Sri Lankan people who had spent decades under oppression could live in peace. The new president has insisted many times that the Easter attack is in his priority list, so the current government will resolve it very soon. Finally, I have to say that the next Pope should be the one who is compassionate and has a humanitarian attitude towards the world. Also, a virtuous, brave person who has the courage and strength to uphold justice and fairness without being bound by traditional rules and regulations. He should be open-minded, help the poor and needy, and uphold the rights of women, children. In addition to that, he should respect people who have different ideologies and their right to live equally with others, whether we agree with them or not. Let's hope that it happens.